so I can show some stuff. Okay, let's try this again. Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Nikki, and today's video I'm going to be talking about my workout routine. So if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And let's just get started talking about it. So this is a video, I get asked this question pretty much daily now, what my workouts look like. And so I figured I would put this together. I've been putting this video off, honestly, because it's something that's kind of like hard for me, because it's something that I've been kind of nervous about, honestly, because I know, and obviously I'm not saying like my subscribers and everything, but people can be very, first of all, judgmental about people's workouts, about their form, about the exercises they do. I am not a certified trainer at all. And so what I'm telling you is just my experience, what I've learned, and what I do that works best for me. So that's why I've just kind of like put it off, because I just feel like I don't want anyone to think they have to copy exactly what I do. I don't want anyone to think that what I'm doing is like perfectly right, because I'm still learning, I'm still working on my form. And so yeah, that's why I kind of have put this video off. But anyway, I'm just gonna get into it today. I do want to make another video kind of showing how I really got started, and a little bit more of a beginner video, but it's kind of hard to film in the gym. It's harder to film machines. So Adam and I are trying to figure out a way to film that. But I do have a lot of videos of myself doing the workouts. A lot of times I film myself just so I can watch it back to see how my form looks. So that's why I'm gonna go ahead and just put the clips in here while I walk through my workout, so you can see what I'm explaining, what I do. But I'm pretty much just gonna talk through what I do for each day at the gym lifting weights. So as of right now, I'm usually going 5 days a week. I do a leg day, then I do usually shoulders, chest, and biceps, which usually those don't all go together. A lot of times people like to do like a push-pull day where it's like back and bis, and then chest, shoulders, and triceps, but I just do what works best for me, and this is what I've stuck with. So anyway, I have my leg day, my shoulder, chest, and bicep day. Then I have another leg day, and I try to go a little bit heavier. This is my day that I really focus on kind of maxing out in certain lifts. Then the next day I do triceps and back, and then the last day I end with another leg day. So that's just what's worked best for me. Again, you can do what works for you. This is just me sharing what I've been doing for the past pretty much year and a half almost now. And it's really helped me to shape my body how I want, grow the muscle where I want to, and just tone up my body overall to what I'm trying to get to. So again, I don't follow any specific plan at all. When I first started in the gym about a year and a half ago, I used Mari Llewellyn's gym and home guides, and I will link those in the description below if you're interested. She's moved more to her Slay app, so it's just a fitness app where you can track your workouts in there, but the guides are still available for sale if you want to check them out. But anyway, I used that for like a month until I really got comfortable going to the gym by myself and using the different equipment. And then I pretty much just transitioned into doing the exercises I wanted to do. And for me personally, that's what's worked best all around in my journey when it comes to food, eating the foods that I still want to eat that make me satisfied, instead of eating like salads all the time, say, because I'm not a big fan of salads, but I always thought I had to eat salads to lose weight. So I focus on foods that I actually want to eat. I focus on exercise that I want to do. I don't ever enjoy running, but I love rollerblading. So that's why I've started to rollerblade. And I have certain things in the gym that I really don't like to do, and I just don't do them. And some of those were in her workouts, and so I stopped doing them. But overall, I just really try to do the lifts that I like, because it makes going to the gym so enjoyable for me. Going to the gym has really become my therapy. It's my alone time to focus on myself, to focus on getting stronger and bettering myself. And it has just been so beneficial for me. So anyway, let's get started. So leg day, I get to the gym, go to the locker room. I always have to go to the bathroom right away because I have my pre-workout before I leave my house. And then when I get there, I have to go. So go to the bathroom, get ready, and then I go over to the stretching area. There I will usually just do some kind of dynamic movements, kind of do some like leg swings. I use my band to do some leg raises and just different stretches to kind of warm up my glutes. I really have found that that makes a difference when it comes to just feeling better when I work out, not being as sore afterwards, and just feeling more warmed up. So once I feel comfortable and I've warmed up for like 5 minutes, Then I head over to the free weights. I start with lunges. Usually I'll just do 3 sets of 10 of each leg, so it's 20 total. It takes a while and it is pretty tiring to start out with, but I start with lunges and sometimes I will superset them with just some goblet squats. My favorite way to work out is to do the exercises in supersets. So what that means is I will do one exercise, I'll do another exercise right away, and then I take my rest. And then I'll do one exercise, do the next one right away, then I take my rest. So I do them back to back. I just feel that I'm taking fewer rests, but I can actually take a longer rest in between. And that way I could just get more lifts in. It's what works best for me. It keeps me moving and I really enjoy it that way. So I'll usually superset lunges with the squats holding a dumbbell. Then after that, I usually go over to a Smith machine. Now, the first like 1 or 2 months that I started lifting at the gym, I did not touch a Smith machine. I was nervous. I wanted to really just get comfortable in the gym setting and using the free weights and different machines. And so I didn't even bother with the Smith machine, but it's really not that scary. It's not that overwhelming. And now it's like my favorite part of my workout is the Smith machine. So I'll go over there. I always start with hip thrusts. So I'll usually do 1 or 2 warm-up sets with a little bit lower weight. And then I start putting on the heavier weight to do my 3 sets of 10. Now, what I started doing, and I didn't do this from the beginning, I've done this a little bit more recently, maybe the past maybe it's been like 6 months, but what I'll do is I'll do 10 regular hip thrusts, then I'll do 10 pulses, and then I try to hold it for 10 seconds. Sometimes I can't hold it for the full 10 seconds. But that has been so killer for my glutes. It feels so good, and so that's just what works for me. So I do like kind of 3 exercises for that, all in one, and then I'll take my rest. So I'll do the hip thrust, the pulses, and then the hold, and then take my rest. After I do that, I like to do some RDLs, and again, I'll start with a like 1 or 2 lower weight sets, and then I put on the heavier weight that I will be lifting, and I'll do usually like 3 sets of 10, and I superset that with single leg RDLs. So I grab a dumbbell, and after I do my normal ones on the Smith machine, I'll go behind the Smith machine and I'll do single leg RDLs, 10 on each leg. I usually use a 15-20 pound weight. It just, again, depends on what works best for you. I think I started out with like a 5 and worked my way up from there. So I'll do that round of supersets. Then after that, I usually switch over to squats, still on the Smith machine. I like to put my band on and do narrow leg squats first, and usually I just do like 3 sets of 10, 12. With the exercises I do, I always aim to do anywhere from 8 to 12 reps. It just depends on the weight I'm using and how far I can push myself. But I'll do usually 3 sets of those. A lot of times I don't really superset anything with those because I don't want to take my band off in between, and I'm just giving myself a little bit more of a break. And then after that, I'll do just regular stance squats. So I'll do usually 1 or 2 warm-up sets and then start going to the heavier weight. And a lot of times I like to superset that with single leg hip thrust. So with that, I just take a dumbbell. I use the bench that I moved to the side so that I could do the squats. And I just do the single leg hip thrust. So again, I'll superset that with that workout. After I do that, I'm done on the Smith machine. I'll usually head over to the leg press. So when I get to the leg press, I put on the weight, and I don't usually really do a warm-up set with leg press. I'm usually pretty warm by then, so I just put on the normal weight that I'm gonna be lifting. That way I could just sit there in between. I don't like to get up in between. But what I do is I'll do 6 narrow presses, then I move my feet out and do 6 just regular stance, and then I do calf raises, and just again using it while I'm still sitting there, I'll do like 15 to 20 calf raises. So that's my set on the leg press. I usually do that 3 to 4 times, 3 rounds or 4 rounds. And then I pretty much end on machines. So sometimes this is what changes in my workouts. Sometimes it usually just depends on what's open, but this is when I like to do some hip abductors or adductors. I like to do some different like leg curls. And so I can show some of those different videos of different machines I use, but this usually changes every time. Then I end with stretching. So my favorite thing is the stretching machine that they have. I need to get one for my house because I would just use it all the time. It just helps so much to get a good stretch in. So I'll usually stretch for 10 to 15 minutes after, and then I'm done with my workout. That is my first leg day. Okay, so then the next day I do shoulders, biceps, and chest. And this, I usually spend most of the day at free weights, and I usually just start there. So I walk in, go to the locker room, head over to the free weights. What I do is I start my warm-up using 5-pound weights, and I'll do a warm-up with dumbbell front raises, lateral raises, and pretty much just kind of warm up my arms. Again, doing a lot of dynamic movement. I kind of like to just stretch my arms and shoulders while I'm kind of getting warmed up. And that usually takes like 5 or 10 minutes. And then I start to go into the workout. So what I like to start with usually is I grab a barbell, and I like to start with shoulder presses. And then I usually superset those with dumbbell bicep curls. So I pretty much just started with the weight that I was comfortable with, that I could do the form correctly. Don't worry about starting too low. Everybody starts somewhere. I'm not kidding. I started at 5s and moved to 10s, 15s, 20s. Like, it takes time and you will make progress, but don't be afraid to start with low weights. I started, again, like I said, with 5s. So then what I do is I use the barbell that I already grabbed to do the first exercise. I use that to do a bench press. So I lay down on the bench, do the bench press with the barbell, and then I'll stand up and superset that with shoulder dumbbell presses. And that's just what works for me. Again, I've kind of gotten used to it. I kind of switch around what I do at times. This is just pretty much what I do most of the time, but sometimes I'll just do the exercises in different orders. These are just the exercises I do every time. So then after I do that, and again, I'm doing 3 sets of 8 to 12, just depending on how far I can push myself, how heavy the weight is. And if I feel like it is too easy, I will go up in weight, but I do try to do this pretty slowly. And I feel I don't really up the weight that often. Like, I go weeks doing the same weight because it's just what works best for me. So then after that, I like to do chest flies. This I have to use, like, I started with 5s for sure, but now I think I'm up to like 15s, where I lay on the bench and I do chest flies, and I superset that with bicep curls using the barbell. So that's what I'll do next. Again, 3 sets. Then I like to do alternating shoulder press with dumbbells, and then I like to superset that with alternating bench press using dumbbells as well. So I'll do those, and then again, 3 rounds. I know I'm sounding repetitive, but that's pretty much what I do. Then sometimes I like to use the Smith machine, and even more recently was when I started using the Smith machine for chest and shoulders. Before, I had just stuck with free weights the whole time and usually only used the Smith machine on leg days. But now I try to use it more often to do bench press. I do shoulder press sometimes. And then a lot of times in between, I'll superset just grabbing a 45-pound plate and doing bicep curls. So that's what I do. I don't usually do a lot of machines either on my shoulder days. Sometimes I'll do a shoulder press machine, and sometimes I'll do the chest press machine. But other than that, I head on over to the stretching area and I stretch, and then I'm done. And my upper body days are usually like 45 minutes to an hour, whereas my leg days can be an hour and a half to 2 hours at times. It just depends how long I take for rest, because there are some days I take pretty long rests because it is pretty exhausting. So now we're on to my 3rd day, which is another leg day. This is what I say is my heavier leg day, and it's just because, I don't know, midweek, I like to really focus on pushing myself and kind of upping the weight, and I don't know, that's just how I've done it in my head and it works for me. So what I do, same thing, start with my glute stretches, dynamic stretching, then I head over to the free weights. What I start with on this day is I do RDLs using a barbell, and I usually do 1 or 2 warm-up sets, and then I start supersetting that with hip thrusts using the barbell as well. So I will do usually 10 to 12 reps of RDLs, and then I'll use the bench right next to me and I'll do hip thrusts. And that's how I started originally doing hip thrusts before I used the Smith machine. So I got more comfortable using a dumbbell, then I'd use a barbell, and then I was able to kind of transition to the Smith machine and be more comfortable with my form when it comes to hip thrusts, because for me that was something that was really hard to get the form down for, but now I feel more comfortable. So anyway, after I do that, I head over to the Smith machine. I do Smith machine hip thrusts. Then after I do the hip thrusts, I do squats, and usually on Wednesdays I just do one type of squat. So I'll either do the narrow squats like I said with my band, or I'll just do regular stance squats and just try to push heavier weights. Then after that, I like to do split squats using the Smith machine. These are a lot harder than you think, and I barely put any weight on, and they're killer. So I really like doing these, but I only do them once a week because they're pretty tough, for me at least. So I like to do those. I do usually only 1 warm-up set of those, and then I do 3 regular with 10 reps on each leg. Usually after I'm done with that, I'm like pretty exhausted because again, like I said, I'm kind of doing heavier weights. Oh, and I forgot to mention with the squats, I like to superset squats on this day with just step ups onto the bench. I grab 2 dumbbells and I just do my step ups. So that's what I'll superset with my squats on my 3rd workout of the week. But anyway, after that, I like to do a few machines again. I'll do like leg curls or the calf machine. and then I do my stretching and I'm pretty much done. So my second leg day actually goes by a little bit quicker for me than the next workout. So now we're on to tris and back, and this is always my shortest workout of the week. I do not enjoy this one as much, honestly, but what I do is I start with some warm-ups, just dynamic stretches for my arms. And then I like to actually start with the ropes. So I start with tricep pull downs with the ropes. And then I like to do lat pull downs. And usually I just do, again, 1 to 2 warm-up sets. And then I keep upping the weight for the last 3 sets. And if I can go up like 5 pounds each time, I do try to do that, but those are pretty tough. Then after that, I do seated rows, and again, I just set up the machine, I do 1 to 2 warm-ups, and then I keep upping the weight. And with all of these things, I actually don't really do supersets because I am just using one machine. I kind of don't need as long of a rest, so I just get through those quicker. So then I head over to the free weights. I do tricep extensions with a single dumbbell, and then I superset that with single arm back rows, I guess they'd be called. I need to look that up. But bent over rows, I just set up on a bench and I do those with 1 dumbbell as well. And usually the weight that I use for the tricep extensions is the same that I'm using for the bent over rows, but I do those usually 3 to 4 sets. So then I like to use the tricep machine, and this one's just really simple to use. I set the weight I need, and then you can just do tricep push downs with it. And again, I don't superset anything with that because it's just a machine kind of off to itself. And that I usually try to increase the weight each time. And with stuff like this, if you guys want to track the weight that you're using, you can. That does make it easier for some people. I personally just kind of remember what I did the last time and what feels right, but it does help some people. If you want to write it down in a notebook, you can carry that around with you at the gym. But after I do that, then I go to the pull-up machine. I do assisted pull-ups and assisted dips usually. This is my least favorite part, and I have to pretty much force myself to do it every time. That's one of the exercises that I probably would prefer not to do, but I know how much it does benefit me. I really feel it the next day, and so I get through it. But that's what I do last. And then I usually end with an ab workout. And with abs, I do very minimal. I usually pick like 4 or 5 exercises. I do them all back to back, and then I take a rest. And I'll usually just do that 2 or 3 times through, and then I do my stretching. So I really only do abs like once or twice a week, depending. Sometimes I do it both upper body days. Otherwise, I just do it one of the 2 upper body days. I never do it on leg day. Then I go to my last leg day, and it's actually everything pretty much that I did the first leg day. So I'm not even gonna walk through it again because it's pretty much the exact same thing, except I forgot I didn't mention one exercise that I like to incorporate on those days, and that is Bulgarian split squats, which are also very killer. They're so difficult, but they are so beneficial. And so I do those. Sometimes I will superset hip thrust using a barbell, but other times it's just too much and I just do the Bulgarian split squats. So anyway, that is my routine. That is what I've been doing for the past pretty much year, like I mentioned. I haven't really switched it up that much, but I'm still seeing progress. It's what works for me. It gets me motivated to go to the gym. I love my workouts. I really do enjoy them, and I enjoy the exercises I do. And so that's why I've just continued it this way. And again, I'm not a personal trainer. I would like to learn in the future, honestly. It's something I've thought about, maybe like going through some courses or something, but as of right now, I'm not certified or anything. This is just what I do. I did lift weights when I was a volleyball player in college, and that really helped me to learn a lot and get a little bit more comfortable with form. But honestly, that was actually something I really struggled with when I was in college, was form and just really getting comfortable to these new movements I wasn't used to. So it's taken a lot of time, and it's taken time to get comfortable, but I really feel like I'm in a good place now at the gym, and I really do enjoy my workouts. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Like I said, I can do more of a beginner friendly, showing some different machines. We just need to find a better way to get in there and kind of film the machines, because I don't want to get other people in it and stuff like that. So this is my current workout split. This is the exact workouts I do. I walked you guys through everything I do, and I hope it wasn't too confusing. I know it probably sounded really repetitive, but that's just what I do when I go to the gym. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time.